Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to join this timely and important public webinar organized by the Philippine Institute of Development Studies. On behalf of the National Program Manager of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, we express our sincere appreciation to the PEDS team and the authors for placing the spotlight to the grievance redress system, an area often under-examined yet critical in realizing the full promise of inclusive and accountable governance. We particularly welcome this dialogue at a time of historic change or transition for the program. The four-piece is currently undergoing significant shift, a massive exit of long-time beneficiaries due to the 7-year limit participation as set by the law, the onboarding of new beneficiaries through the community-based monitoring evaluation or system, and an ambitious re-engineering of systems and processes to make service delivery more citizen-driven, digitally enabled, and shock responsive. Against this backdrop, the study From Complaints to Opportunities, analyzing grievance trends and responsiveness in the four-piece, provides a timely and invaluable lens. It offers not only a comprehensive analysis of grievance patterns from 2010 to 2022, but also deeper insights into how feedback, especially in terms of programmatic change, can drive accountability, resilience, and reform. In a program that reaches millions of households across thousands of barangays, the ability to listen, respond, and evolve based on citizen grievance is not peripheral. It is foundational. It speaks directly to our commitment to building a more dignified, agile, and rights-based social protection system, one that remains responsive and amid complexity and in transition. Allow me to share to you some key insights from the study. First, the study affirms a reality that frontline practitioners have long experienced but seldom measured. That grievance volume is not merely a function of program scale, but of program disruption and transformation. The recorded spikes of grievances in 2013, 2018, and 2021 track closely with external shock, Typhoon Yolanda, the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as major internal reforms such as system upgrades and operational shifts. These patterns are instructive. They confirm that grievances are more than complaints. They are stress signals, responding to institutional change, technological failures, or rising expectation. As we now usher in tens of thousands of household exits and new waves of households, we must treat grievance system as a buffer and a barometer. Second, the data confirms that payment-related issues remain the most dominant category of complaints, consistently accounting for almost half of all recorded grievances. In the conditional cash transfer program, this is unsurprising. The grants is tangible, visible, and expected. Yet the persistence of grievances related to underpayment, card inaccessibility, and account mismatches also exposes enduring frictions across business processes, from compliance and coding to household updating to grant computation and disbursement. In a time when we are streamlining systems for faster and more beneficiary-driven processes, such issues reinforce the urgent need for end-to-end integration across compliance, grievance, and update and payment workflow. This is notable. Third, it is notable that in-person grievance filing remains the most preferred mode for complainants, even in an era of digital shift. These findings grounds us. It affirms that beyond system performance, our beneficiaries value presence, empathy, and human interaction. Whether through grievance desks, visits, or barangay consultations, what they seek is not just resolution, but dignity, explanation, and accompaniment. This revalidates the importance of our frontliners, not merely as encoders or verifiers, but as custodians of trust. Fourth, while the study highlights a commendable overall resolution, it also flags an area of concern: declining timeliness, especially during 2021 and 2022, period marked by pandemic backlogs and digital infrastructure failure. These findings carries weight because in grievance system, speed is not cosmetic, it is justice. A delayed response often means delayed assistance, unmet needs, or eroded confidence in government systems. In an increasingly digitized and time-sensitive financial ecosystem, timeliness becomes a core metric of program integrity. From the standpoint of the National Program Management Office, the findings of this study both affirm long-standing internal assessments and compel us to intensify our ongoing reforms. At this point of transformation, marked by the graduation of legacy households, the digital onboarding of CBMS identified beneficiaries, and the systemic re-engineering of delivery system, the role of grievance redress becomes even more central. Let me offer to you some of my reflections. First, while it is unsurprising that most grievances stem from payment concerns, the study confirms what field personnel already confront. Payment issues are often symptoms of deeper process fragmentation. The source of a grievance may not be the cash transfer mechanism per se, but delays in compliance and coding, outdated household profiles, unresolved updating requests, or data mismatches across system. This complexity highlights the importance of process integration. What we are now working is a seamlessly interoperable digital chain where grievance resolution does not merely end with a reply, but automatic triggers adjustment across compliance, updating, and payment systems. Second, and perhaps most crucially important, the study reinforces what we know at the core of our social contract. Grievances are more than just numbers. They are narratives. They are the stories of the poor households. Behind every complaint is a family seeking clarity, fairness, or resolution. As such, our grievance staff are not just technical workers, they are frontline trust builders. The way they receive a complaint, explain its status, and follow through with feedbacks shape the public's perception of both the program and the government in general. This insight has prompted us to rethink the four-piece manual operations and systems redesign with a human-centered lens. We are advocating for grievance protocols that do not stop at data entry or ticket closure, but that embed empathy, ensure transparency, and institutionalize community feedback. In the same spirit, we are exploring ways to make grievance dashboard more visible at the local level to support regional accountability and encourage active listening from our implementers. Ultimately, what this study shows and what our daily program experience confirms is that grievance redress is not an auxiliary system. It is a central feature of adaptive social protection. It allows us to detect shocks early, calibrate policy implementation, and restore faith when the system falters. As we re-engineer our delivery model to become more agile, data-driven, and people-centered, the grievance redress system must evolve with it. No longer reactive, but predictive. Not just procedural, but transformative. The real value of this study lies not only in the insights it provides, but in the operational and policy momentum it creates. For the National Program Management Office, the findings are not just confirmation, they are a call to action, especially as we realign the program in light of the 7-year limit, CBMS-based targeting, and the evolving expectation of digital governance. First, we must fully reimagine the grievance redress system not as a downstream complaint mechanism, but as a strategic feedback infrastructure for citizen empowerment and institutional learning. This means moving from a purely transactional mindset to one that identifies patterns, anticipates risk, and informs system-wide reforms. In this spirit, we are embedding grievance analytics in regional performance dashboards, enabling local program managers or case managers to monitor recurring issues, outliers, and policy misalignments in real time. Grievance redress system must not only track complaints, it must surface root causes and guide solutions. Secondly, the study underscores the urgent need to modernize our grievance typology and resolution codes. As 4Ps shift from legacy systems to integrated digital platform, as we welcome a new generation of CBMS identified beneficiaries, the nature of complaints is also changing. Many grievances now pertain to data quality, digital payment errors, and automated compliance logic. We are currently undertaking a field validated revision, field validation categories to ensure they both reflect technical complexity and lived beneficiary experience, thereby enabling more precise triaging and targeted resolution. Third, we are advocating the end-to-end integration of the grievance redress system with the beneficiary update system and compliance verification system. At the present, even resolved, grievances may not automatically update the household profile or grant computation. This is a critical gap. With the program now focused on streamlined beneficiary-driven processes, grievance resolution must become trigger point for back-end corrections. Interoperability is no longer optional. It is essential for systems reliability, especially in addressing payment-related complaints. Beyond systems integration, however, is the imperative to foster a culture of responsiveness and accountability. We are proposing the regional grievance performance measured not just in quantity, but in quality and timeliness, be reflected also in their scorecards. We're also exploring a grievance satisfaction survey, third-party validation, and case resolution audits to embed client-centered service values within the bureaucracy. At the heart of all these reforms is a fundamental belief: grievances are not disruptions. They are data. They are expressions of public expectations, invitations for reforms, and real-time barometers of system health. If we treat them as noise, we miss the signal. But if we listen with intention and act with precision, we can ensure that 4Ps continues to evolve as a resilient, inclusive, and just platform for human development. In closing, this study compels us to view grievance redress not merely as a support system, but as a core instrument of governance and social accountability. In a program like 4Ps, where millions of households entrust us with their hopes, data, and livelihoods, how we respond to a complaint is as consequential as the cash transfer itself. It reflects our values, our agility, our sincerity as public servants. We are reminded that behind every complaint lies a story, a human story. It could be a grandmother struggling to understand why her household was exited, a newly onboarded beneficiary confused about compliance timelines, or a youth who missed school because the fair grant didn't arrive in time. These are not just anomalies in the database. They are early warnings and opportunities for repair. If we regard grievances as burdens to be minimized, we miss their transformative potential. But if we listen deeply, disaggregate wisely, and respond systematically, then grievances becomes governance gold, the raw material for refining systems, correcting inequities, and restoring trust. To our colleagues in the research community, we ask, how else can we harness grievance data, not just for accountability, but for service innovation and behavioral insights? Can we develop co-models that reflect grievance clustering around specific shocks, transitions, or localities, and use them to preempt service failures? To our fellow implementers and public servants, can we institutionalize grievance responsiveness as a key performance measure, not just a back office function? Can we empower our field staff to not only resolve issues, but to learn from them, document them, and advocate for systemic change? And to our partners at PEDS, thank you. Your work affirms that responsive governance requires more than good intentions. It requires good information, shared inquiry, and bold reform. Together, let us continue building grievance systems that do more than just absorb complaints. They must shape the next generation of adaptive, equitable, and citizen-anchored public programs. Maraming salamat po, and we're really looking forward for a very meaningful discussion.